to be honest, it was for sure God fulfilling my number one dream. Wow. I never had a spontaneous pregnancy. I've never had that. All my pregnancies before Mila, I had a pregnancy that I had lost. Both of them were controlled. And so I never experienced that. And that was something I grieved for a long time because I always wanted that moment of like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I didn't even know how it happened. You know, like I never got to experience it. And I always grieved that. Yeah. And I always said like, Lord, that's all I want. I just want that surprise, you know? And I felt like he renewed that dream for me, like that, so awesome. That like desire to just have that like, oh my gosh, like surprise pregnancy.
Podcast. I'm Daniella.
And I'm Alex.
And we are so excited you're with us again to talk about all things friendship, all things relationship, all things adulthood, friends, commitments, community, women, all the things. It's exhausting, guys. It's exhausting.
I only got lady women. That's all. You were on it.
But we have an awesome guest with us today, Amanda Recarey. She was with us before. Amanda, thanks for being here.
Season 1, repeat. Right? Now
you are our first repeat guest.
I'm welcome back. Oh my gosh, I'm honored.
Thank you for being here.
I always say I'm so honored to like be invited to like any podcast because I'm like, I'm not that interesting of a person, but thank you for finding me interesting.
You are interesting. And last time you were here, we talked about your journey to motherhood and how it was a tricky journey. You finally had Mila, and then now. What happened?
Well, a lot has happened. So in the fall of last year, my husband and I, we were pursuing another IUI. And the doctors were like, all systems go. Like, everything looks great. They ran all the tests and they were like, your body is ready. Let's do it. And then I just kind of felt this inkling to like pause. So a lot of my friends were becoming pregnant naturally who had their first baby through IVF and IUI. And I was like, I want that. I can do that. It could happen for me. So I just boldly stepped out in faith and I just started declaring that over my body every single day. Wow. For like 2 months, November and December. And then in February 1st, I woke up one morning and I was like, something's off. My spidey senses are off. Something just did not feel right. So I went and took a test and it was screaming positive. It didn't have time to process. Like I was like peeing on the stick and I took a glance and I'm like, what?
It already says pregnant?
Wow. Yes. I was like, oh my God.
Because that is the longest 2 minutes of life is waiting for a pregnancy test.
That was 2 seconds.
That is the longest.
I was thinking of breakfast and I just happened to glance down and I was like, oh my God. So we are pregnant naturally. Yay! Spontaneously, naturally, because we were not trying, we weren't preventing, but it just...
We were preventing.
We were not preventing.
We were not preventing.
It happened.
How
we counted
awesome.
back like when it happened.
How awesome.
So that was fun.
And thank you for including me and telling me.
Of course. I had to. I was like, she needs to know.
Girl, that was such a cool text. Amanda just like texted me. She's like, hey, I want to show you something. FaceTime me when you can. So I was like, okay. And I was like, I really had no idea. That was not even on my radar. And she's like, look, I want to show you something. And it was her pregnancy test. I was like, oh, what? What is happening? And she's like, it was natural. And I was like, I literally was like, my eyes got watery instantly. I was like, gonna cry it was so beautiful. It was such an awesome thing. Yeah,
then she forwarded it to me and I was like, no way.
Did you think it was hers?
No. Because, we did you guys did the episode and I had seen, I was like, man, that is quite a story. And so then she sent me that text and I was like, what the heck?
The timing is wild.
And we had just come from the She Cultivates event.
Which I was pregnant at. I was pregnant
but you didn't know yet, right?
I had no idea. I was pregnant for about a month and a half and I had no idea.
That's right.
I was chilling. And mind you, I had champagne that night too. I was living my best life. I was like, this was great.
So was the baby.
The baby was like,
toast
okay,
to
mom,
us,
thanks.
mom.
He's going to come out the life of the party. Because
I know. We're saying he. We don't even know what it is yet, but I'm for sure it's a boy. Yes. But yeah.
I love how you have these feelings and then
just
they happen.
know it. It's like, I know, right?
That's really
cool. That's so crazy. I love how women can tell. I mean, not all, but like you could tell.
We have an
I'm
intuition.
Pregnant. Yeah, like I'm pregnant.
You
And I'm
just
like,
knew it. Like, I just woke up that morning. I did have one symptom like a few days prior, but I kind of like pushed it to the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I was at the gym and like my boobs were on fire, like flaming hot. And I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. No, it's fine. Go back to doing burpees, whatever. And then 2 days later, I was like, oh my God, I did burpees and I was pregnant. What am I doing? So yeah, that's no clue.
That's
no
so
clue
crazy.
whatsoever.
That's so exciting though. And you guys were like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to try natural. How was your husband's, like, what was his process?
So I had
Thinking
told
process.
him when I decided I wanted to pause the IUI, I told him the reason why. And he was 100% on board. He completely agreed. He's like, let's declare our, and it's crazy because all the things leading up to that were just like lining up perfectly. Like the way God lined up everything was so great. Our church, they do a word of the year every year. And so, but they lead up before we get to New Year's Eve, they lead up to that word. And they were saying 2024, our word is declare. So I was like, ooh, I see it, Lord. Okay. So it was just everything leading up to that. It just made sense for us. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to ovulate track. I'm not going to do any of that. Let's just have fun. I'm going to take care of my body. We're just going to enjoy each other.
Started exercising.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to take care of my body.
All these
do
things.
Yeah.
And I was like, when it happens, it's going to happen. And if we get to a point where we feel like it's not happening naturally, then we'll go to IUI. But until then, let's just focus on that. And 1 month. 1 month
That's
of
amazing.
it. I was like, oh, that was quick. Okay, God.
Wow.
So it was New Year's Eve that happened.
And how did that make you feel, having gone through that whole crazy journey with Mila, the ups, the downs, the sadnesses, the losses, all of that? How did that make you feel? Like, my body did this on its own. Like, how did that make you feel at that moment?
To be honest, it was for sure God fulfilling my number one dream.
Wow.
I never had a spontaneous pregnancy. I've never had that. All my pregnancies before Mila, I had a pregnancy that I had lost. Both of them were controlled. They were very within medicine. They were with my fertility doctor. I knew I knew the dates and, the DPOs and all of that. And so I never experienced that. And that was something I grieved for a long time because I always wanted that moment of like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I didn't even know how it happened. I never got to experience it. And I always grieved that.
Yeah.
And I always said like, Lord, that's all I want. I just want that surprise, And I felt like he renewed that dream for me, like that,
So awesome.
that like desire to just have that like, oh my gosh, like surprise pregnancy.
Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
Not to make this Amazing Woman light. I'm sorry. It's so stuck in my head. I was listening to an amazing podcast of talking about dreams and how sometimes our dreams don't go in the timeline that we thought.
Yes.
But they're better. It takes longer.
Yeah.
It's a harder journey, but it ends up being better.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I shared it with Alex yesterday because I was like, I was literally crying listening to that podcast on my way home.
So good.
And I was like, I feel like there's so many things within me that I'm like, I feel like those dreams that God has put in me haven't come to fulfillment yet.
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful testimony that, yes, in time, in faith, in trust.
Yeah.
Girl, trust is the key word, trust.
Yes. Yep.
And so that is so awesome that dream, he made it happen.
He renewed it, and it felt so good because when I like saw the test, I didn't even like cry or anything. I was just like so happy of like, oh, I finally got that moment, like that one thing. It sounds so like insignificant to so many people, but to me, I was like, this is all I wanted. This is it. Like that's all I wanted, and I'm happy.
I love that, and I love the idea of dreams like that God has put in us, that things that God has put in us. Like I remember clearly having a vision of two things when I was in college. Of God put this vision of me to share him, like show the world who God is visually.
Yes.
And then also like I had this super clear vision of me like sharing in like a theater, and I was like speaking, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Like the scariest
it's
one.
so scary. No, it was so scary. And I was like, and I couldn't see myself. I saw myself from the back. It was almost like someone was filming me from behind. I saw me, and I saw like a huge audience in a theater. And God clearly gave me these images, and I was like, God, that was you. So if you put these things in my heart, I know that they're dreams that you've put in me that you are going to fulfill in your time. But just the idea of it's not in our timeline. It's like, it's going to be longer. It's going to be harder, but it's going to be better.
Well, I have a good dream that I'm going to give you goosebumps. You ready? So I had a dream. I was like a teenager, it's one of those like that just instilled in your head, of my husband, of Pedro. I didn't see his face. I saw the back of his head, his curly hair. I saw his height and this body shape. And in that dream, I was at my own baby shower having a boy, and I had a toddler little girl.
Bro, I can't.
I literally just got goosebumps.
God is my witness. I had that dream.
Oh my gosh.
I must have been maybe 18, 19 years old. And I remember at that dream, I was at my baby shower and someone was saying how cute my daughter was, and she was a toddler. And I remember looking down and I had a blue sash. I saw my belly, so I knew I was having a boy. And I saw my husband. I saw the back of his head, but I saw his curly hair and just like the shape of his body. So when I met my husband, Pedro, I knew he was my husband. I was like, I dreamt of you. I knew you. But the kids part was something that I kind of almost put in the back of my head later on until I became a mother. And I was like, okay, this
all
is
panning out.
Yes, it's all like puzzle pieces are coming together. But I always,
so crazy.
I've written that dream down like 500 times, but I always remember that dream like in the sequence of it.
That is so amazing.
So it's wild how he definitely gives you dreams and in the most crazy times, but they just come back to you like when that time comes, you know?
Yes. Oh,
So,
that's
I
so
love that.
powerful. That's so good. Alex, what's your dream?
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, funny thing is, now that we're kind of like discussing it, I just remember having a lot of dreams as a little girl, or like the desire of my heart to be a homemaker, but without actually not processing it at the moment. I just saw myself at my house preparing food for everyone, having everyone come over. And now that we're kind of going over it and thinking of it, and as I transitioned into this part of my life, I see it has always been what God has wanted for me to stay at home. I am not good at jobs. They cause me stress. They cause me anxiety. Some people can work and they're really good at it.
And they feel fulfilled by it.
And they do, but the more that I've been at home, the more I've been able to focus my energy on beginning to create a whole family that I lost out, and it was later, but I still lost out on that whole family feeling of that kind of really intimate relationship with your parents, of trust and encouragement, and just being able to tell them anything. I feel like God has put that into my heart ever since I was little. I just didn't know, because my family was still technically together. Was it the most functional? Not necessarily, but it was.
Now it's making sense.
Now it's
Looking
making
at it
sense.
as an adult.
Now I know that He wants me to have a baby to break the cycle
I love that.
of what generational curses have been in my household. And so it's been a lot of change for me, because I come from a place where like, oh no, I'm good. I'm like such a good wife, such a good daughter. I have so much work to do. So much work to do. There's been a lot of humbling moments for me. They've hurt. But one thing that you said in the last episode was finding joy through that. So that's kind of also the next facet I'm working on, is finding joy through these moments that are so difficult in your marriage, in your relationship with other people, because I find either myself to be inadequate or the other person hurts me. It's okay. It's gonna happen. They're people, your people. Just know that in God there is joy always. In trusting Him there is joy. And yeah, it's not something. This is kind of revelation or revelatory to me now. Right now in this moment.
I love this literal second.
This literal second. But yeah. I fought it for so long, because I'm like, oh, I don't want kids because they're so hard and whatever. And God was like, you are crazy. You're getting sick doing things that are not in the will that I have for you. And now that I'm finally in line with what I need to do as a wife and hopefully as a future mother, I feel good. I feel good about me. I love me, finding myself in Him. And I don't want to give a spoiler alert, but we will talk about that later. But yeah, it's been a journey, and I can't wait to see the dream fulfilled. I don't know if it's going to be wham bam thank you ma'am kind of thing. I don't know if it's going to be a difficult journey, but I'm still excited.
Yeah.
I'm still very much being like, okay, God, however you want it to be.
Yeah.
And just leaving it, because if not, I'm a very nervous Nancy. I get anxious about everything. So if I have someone who I know, because God is big, God is everything, He knows everything.
And if He's put that desire in your heart, I feel like I know it's going to work out. You know, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I felt such fulfillment when I became a mom. And I hate saying this because sometimes people cannot become moms, but personally for me, I did feel that desire in my heart to be a mom. And then God gave me the baby, and I was like, wow. I just felt this like feeling that I was like, this is my purpose in a way.
Yeah.
And maybe that's going to be the key to a lot of that peace in your life as well. You know, you never know. You're like, oh my God, I never knew I needed this baby.
No. Like, there's a part of me that's super excited to like hold a baby and be like, I love you.
You made this.
And and like, I just can't wait to show you how much I really, really love you.
Yes.
Because not that I wasn't loved growing up. They loved me the best that they can. But it wasn't, and this is going to sound selfish, but it wasn't catered to me.
Gotcha.
It was how they knew how to love, which got me as far as where I am, you know. But I want to listen. I want to be that parent that listens. I want to be that parent that's really there, like in all aspects versus just physically.
Yeah.
Meeting the needs beyond, are you fed? Are you bathed? Are you clothed? Letting them know that I am a safe space for them.
That's so important.
That's so good. That's so relevant to like our generation. I feel like a lot of people will say like the millennial generation, like we're dramatic or whatnot. It's like, no, we've been through a lot of trauma. Like, hello. Like our parents did their best, but we, you know, we're struggling. So that's so relevant because I know that feeling. Like, I love my parents. They did their best. But there's a lot of areas that now as an adult and as a mother, I see like, oh, that could have been done differently,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
And just like you said, like, I want to do it differently for my kids, you know? And that's exactly how I am with my daughter and, you know, our future kids is the areas that I recognize now where my parents dropped the ball. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure not to do that with my kids, you know? And it's like breaking that generational trauma. And they did their best. They parent the only way they knew how, but, you know, we're like, oh, that hurt us.
Like once you actually, once you kind of actually get to ruminate and let's not ruminate too much on it. But once you kind of get to think a little bit, you're like, oh,
that was not good.
That didn't make me turn out like I should have.
That's
like I
therapy.
should. So it's been one of those things that as a little girl, I saw myself doing these things in, you know, little daydreams I had or whatever. But literally until this moment, I had no idea. I had no idea how that would, you know, fall into place in my life because I just, the society always tells you go work, go, you know, you need to have a degree or being a degree or having a degree makes you, you know, and not always, not always. I didn't finish college. I did not. I was on the 8-year plan and I was like, I'm just wasting money. I am just wasting my time and my money. So luckily I found a husband who, you know, is able to support that dream. But, you know.
And we all have good hubbies.
Yes.
We all have some good hubbies.
Frustrating.
People, still humans.
So remember this.
You're going to love staying at home, though. It's the best. And it's still a job. You just, you know. You
don't realize how much there is to do at home.
Are you kidding me?
Until you are at home.
Yes. And you're like, oh, I live here.
Yeah.
These 4 walls. But honestly, like, I really do. I don't, like, I hate how people kind of, like, get down on, like, stay-at-home moms. It's like, not everyone has the desire to climb the corporate ladder.
Right.
Not everyone finds fulfillment. I personally have never found fulfillment in the corporate world. I've never, my heart has never been like, you know, for the company.
Yeah.
My heart has always been to be home.
Yes.
And that's where my heart is. And it's okay if someone is like, well, my heart is with the company. Great. Do what brings you joy. Do what makes you happy. For me, I find joy being home with my kids and building my home. That is what makes me feel fulfilled in my life. And thank God that my husband, you know, he 100% is like, you know, we both come from moms who were home at some point. So we both know what that feels like.
And the importance of it.
Yeah. And he's like, stay home. You know, we have our plans for our family. I want to homeschool our kids. I got to be home for that.
Yeah.
Kind of required.
Have to be at the home to school them. Absolutely.
But like, we have so many plans, and it makes sense for us, for me to be home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. And I think that's changing. I feel like a lot of women our age are like seeing the importance of staying home and like, because there was this huge like thing of like, women go to work, go to work, go to work. Like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was like, women go to work and put your kids in daycare and put your kids in this and whatever. And I think there has been a change, a lot more homeschooling, a lot more like women staying home and like seeing the importance of raising their kids at home by themselves, you know?
And daycare is just stupid expensive.
Yeah. And then you're not even
That's
raising
a whole
your
nother
kids.
mortgage. That's a whole nother mortgage.
It is a whole nother mortgage.
And a lot of people think you have to be like very successful and wealthy to be home. It's like, no, I am far from rich. Like I said, Sheen, fabulous girl, right? Okay. We just make sacrifices that work for us. That's it. You know, we find areas that we're more of, you know, luxuries that we're like, okay, we don't need that.
Right.
You know, I don't need to get my nails done every 2 weeks. I don't need to, you know, go and have all these subscriptions.
Right.
To,
So many
you know,
subscriptions.
Yeah. Like there were so many luxuries that were like, if we cut these out, we can actually live in a one income household.
Right.
And thank God you know, my daughter's almost, she's 1, almost 2. We have another one on the way, and we're perfectly fine.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so awesome. How would you encourage someone right now that's like, I know we kind of touched on this before, but like, if they're like, I'm still in that season where I'm not seeing anything, like, how would you encourage someone that's like feeling abandoned by God in their dreams or in that promise that they've been given?
Yeah. It was actually something I was going to mention to you, is that when you're on that journey to motherhood, it could sometimes be just wham, bam, boom, you're pregnant immediately, which I hope that was what you get. But sometimes it's a longer road. And one thing I learned on my journey is that it's for a reason. You know, there's so much I learned in those 3 years of waiting for a child. There's so much I appreciated now. You know, now I appreciate the beauty and miracle it is of pregnancy, of birth, of children. You know, if I had gotten pregnant that first try in March of 2018, I still remember it. I would have not appreciated motherhood the way I do now. Now I look at my daughter and I look at, you know, my future baby coming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are miracles. Like the fact that I'm growing a human
Totally
is a miracle, because I know so many women who have never been able to experience that.
Yeah.
And I see that hurt in them, and I'm like, this is a miracle right here. You know, the fact that God has found favor on my womb and opened it, that is a miracle. And I appreciate it so much more. So sometimes that journey, it's required to appreciate certain things, to learn certain things. I've gained such a respect for women who walk through the even more deeper trenches of infertility, who go through IVF and embryo adoption and surrogacy. I mean, there's deeper trenches.
Right.
I just barely touched the surface with IUI. There are women who have gone through it. And I'm just like, y'all are superwomen. Y'all deserve an award to be paid forever.
It's a lot. And it's not just the physical part of it.
Yes,
it's the emotional,
mental.
the psychological part of bearing that burden. Because, again, going back to the last episode that you were on with us, it does feel like it does feel like you are just shouldering that burden all by yourself, because the men ultimately they don't understand. As much as they try to be there and comfort, that is the extent of what they can do, is comfort. But you as a woman, you're struggling internally with like, what's wrong with me? Am I not what my woman? This is like my womanhood, and I cannot. So it's definitely exhausting, and it takes a toll on your self-esteem, on your psyche. Just so yeah, power to all the women who are in those trenches right now,
and doing it with a smile on their face.
Yes.
I know so many who are in their 10-year wait, and they are just like pushing through, and I'm like, y'all are my heroes.
Totally.
And it's just so amazing to see just the determination. That's a word. The determination in us as women to fulfill that one desire to become mothers. So.
As we film on International Women's Day.
Is it
today's International Women's Day.
Oh my gosh! Look at that. That's
So-
stay-at-home mom life. You don't know what day of the week it is.
That's so
Like,
perfect.
is it Tuesday? I don't know.
That's so true.
Yeah.
When you're home with your kids, you're like, what day is it? You're like,
You don't even know what
am I?
time it is.
Yeah,
My
you're still,
husband
like, in
comes
your
home from
PJs.
work, and I'm like, oh, it's 5:00. I have not changed.
That's so funny. I know, it's true. It's like you get you're in your own world. You're
Yep.
like, I'm with,
You're on
in your own
episode
schedule.
500 of Miss Rachel. And
Girl, Miss Rachel, you
Miss
will know about
Rachel.
Miss
I
Rachel.
know. I have already heard.
Yep.
You've heard the
wonderful-
legends
Yeah,
of
the
Miss
legends
Rachel.
of Miss Rachel.
and the versions of her.
Yeah.
Oh, there are
Oh.
many versions.
What? She comes in so many flavors. So there's Miss Rachel, the OG. And then there's Miss Isa, who is the Latina version.
Oh.
And then I don't remember her name, but there's the Christian version of Miss Rachel who looks just like her.
Oh.
She just does biblical songs. So we watch.
What's
all
her
three.
name?
I don't even
I don't know.
remember her
I didn't know
name.
there was a biblical Miss Rachel.
Holy Sprouts is the channel.
Sprouts. How
Yes.
cute. Okay,
Holy
okay.
Sprouts is the
Oh, that's
YouTube
so
channel.
cute.
And we watch all three. And then there's Miss Gracie.
Oh
who,
my gosh.
she's the hood version.
Okay.
You got any flavor you
We've
want.
got so many flavors, and all day we just watch it. All day, I wake up singing these
little
songs in my head, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
God help me.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Did you see that meme? It's so off track, but it was like a reel or something of a little boy watching that butterfly song from Miss Rachel, and he just like starts crying because it's like kind of like a melancholy, sad song about butterflies,
yes.
and it's just like a baby boy.
It's
and
the
he's
caterpillar one.
Caterpillar, yes, caterpillar, not butterfly, caterpillar, and it's just like caterpillar. It's like very like,
Yeah.
and the baby's like. The baby like wants to cry.
Oh.
I don't know, it's so cute.
I find
though, it's so
myself
funny.
like the fact that I know each word to the songs.
Yes.
is really, it shows I have no life. Like
Yeah,
I'm
just-
sitting here
it's mom
quoting
life.
Sesame Street.
It's
like,
mom life.
like I'm listening to it on my phone.
Blippy, is she into Blippy?
No, thank God.
Okay.
Or Coco Melon.
Oh, thank God with
Yes,
the Coco Melon.
we are
Oh
not a
my-
Coco Melon or Blippy household. I can't.
You
like,
said I rebuked that. In the
yes.
name of Jesus.
No, thank you. And Peppa Pig.
No Peppa Pig.
Ooh.
I've heard Peppa Pig is
I don't
supposedly
like her.
not like a good.
She's a little brat.
Yeah.
Makes me want to eat bacon. Like
You're
I
making me hungry.
don't like you, Miss Peppa.
We love the Wiggles. My son,
Yes.
Jude, is obsessed with the Wiggles.
Yes.
They got a little woke there. I was like, bro, what's up with this? But very weird. But
Yeah.
we love the Wiggles.
Yes.
And we love Miss Rachel
Yes.
and all that word party. Girl.
I'm just here taking notes. Like
number blocks,
Wiggles,
all of
Rachel.
these things. You
Miss Isa.
your kids will learn like how to turn on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because we have
I've
Roku
seen it.
TV,
I've
and
seen
they
it in
just
my
click
niece.
it and they just know.
Yeah.
Or on your phone.
My niece, she can turn it on from whatever device.
Our kids are gonna be geniuses.
And then
Yeah, they are.
she knew like when she was like 2 or 3 to skip the
The ad.
ads. I was like, what? Even I miss it, or I'll look at the ad. I'm like, wow, that's kind of relevant to me. But she's like, no, I don't have time for this. I'm 3. I need to.
I'm in a hurry.
I need to go.
I'm not interested in arthritis
Yeah.
medication.
But yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild how quick they pick up technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Motherhood is fun.
You love it?
I love it. Oh my gosh. It's my greatest job. It's the only job I've actually did good in. Everything else I have failed.
Oh.
Like I was like
I'm not a good worker.
I dropped out of
office.
community college. I think every job I've ever worked, I think I've lasted about a year before they're like, you are useless. Please leave. I told a story on my TikTok one time that like blew up, how I like lied to get a job when I lived in New York, and how I lasted a year there. And eventually they're caught on to the fact that I had no clue what I was doing.
Oh my gosh.
Like
a year?
a year. A year
Well,
I
at least you got
lasted.
paid.
I'm
So what were you doing all day? You're like solitaire? Like what?
I figured out ways to make myself look like I was productive.
Busy,
yeah.
yeah.
Like I made up a resume, like completely
That's
fabricated a resume. Nothing on that was true. Everything was a lie. I put that I had a bachelor's degree. Everything.
But they don't check.
They don't check.
They
And
don't
you know what I
check.
did? You know what won me? And I will always say, this is what won me. This is how I know that I know it's Women's Day. I'm just going to say, if a man is interviewing a really pretty girl, because at the time I look cute.
You are so cute. You are still so cute.
You can get that job. I quoted lines from the movie Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he
No
ate
wonder.
it
Yeah.
up. He ate it up. I was like, I work hard. I learn fast. All these things. And he's just like, I like you. You're hired. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Energy.
I have no idea what I'm doing. It was like some development company.
You like
in the
hide
city.
the ring a little bit.
Like, no, I didn't have it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I think that's what
I've done that before. I hide the ring like, oh well. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
it's fake from Amazon.
So how many years have you been married?
The fact I had to think about it. We got married in 2017 because we've been together longer than we've been married.
Oh yeah, you guys were together for a long time, right?
Yes. We met when we were 19. We met on MySpace.
Gosh. Oh, MySpace,
I know.
bro. Bring it back to MySpace.
MySpace.
So then how long
We
did you
were
date?
coding our own things.
We dated long distance for a year
Okay.
when I was 19. And then I decided, peace out, Florida, moving to New York. And we were together ever since. So 15, 16 years together and then married. I think we're about to hit, I don't know math.
7.
7. There you go.
Because you got married a year after we
2017.
did.
Yeah.
So I'm about to hit 8.
Okay. So 7 years.
I'm about to hit 10.
Ooh.
Time to
A
renew.
decade.
Time to renew.
Upgrade
Renew
the
my
brand.
husband or what? Let me change him in for another one. No, just kidding. I'm like, I feel like I'm just understanding him. I'm like, how do people get divorced at like 20 years? I'm like, you're gonna start all over?
I know.
I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't
no.
start
It's a
all
lot of
over.
work. Listen, after watching Love is Blind,
Girl, okay.
I cannot be single in this world.
No.
I can't. There's
There's-
too many Jimmys and Clays out there.
Yes.
I can't.
Yes. Or even that
Jeremy
other guy.
is collecting fiancés like Pokemon or
Oh
something.
my gosh. So did you watch the whole season?
I watched every episode.
Oh my gosh. But that one guy really annoyed me that they broke up right after the honeymoon. I don't
Kenneth.
remember. Yes.
Oh,
He annoyed. I feel like he
the
was
way
gaslighting her or
he dropped
something.
that girl. Like
I was
she was
like,
a sack
she was
of
an
potatoes.
angel.
I know.
And he was just like, I don't think this is gonna. And I was like,
but there's
bro,
like a lot of like juicy back talk about what's going on really with him.
I cannot wait to see that in the
And I'm
reunion.
just like, makes sense.
Ugh.
But yeah, no, I think we all were just like, what?
I
Because they
don't
were
know.
supposed to be the couple.
I thought they were the
Season
couple.
6. They were the Cameron and Lauren.
I thought they
of
were the
season
couple.
6.
I really did too. And I was like, whoa.
2
this is-
episodes in, he was like, bye. I'm like, I'm
I
sorry,
could not
what?
stand him. I could not stand him by the end. I was like, thank God he dropped her because I was like, she deserves way better than him.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, you gotta catch up. You gotta catch up with the Love Is Blind, Alex.
You have to.
I'm just
It's so
Okay,
juicy.
okay.
It makes
so
you
good.
very confident in your relationship.
Right?
Right? You watch it and you're like, oh,
I'm like, damn, I got a good man.
I got a good one right here.
because that's my reservation. I'm just like, do I really want to like spend my time watching these people try to get together when I know that I know myself I cannot be out there again.
Oh no, I'd be single forever.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
homeless. 'Cause
yeah,
I don't.
homeless because I don't work.
I don't work.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I'd move back in with my parents.
Yeah,
which,
yeah. No.
I mean, I'll just jump off a cliff.
Before you do that.
I live with them, so I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
Alex is like, let me tell you, yes, you're on the right track.
Yeah. Just forget about moving back and just jump off the cliff.
Yep.
But yeah, there's like so much crazy, like toxic, like, nowadays with single people. I'm like,
Yes.
sorry to you girls. I can't help but be like,
I know. I feel so because like I have so
you
many
guys are gonna
friends.
find godly, amazing men.
Yes, I have so many friends who are like in that single season, and they're we're the same age, and they're just like, where are these good men? And I'm like, girl, I found mine on MySpace back in 2007.
day.
I can't help you. It's a long time ago.
It's hard. No, it's very hard for the single people.
2009. There you go.
2009.
I always forget.
I feel like I remember when you met your now hubby.
Yeah.
Because I think that was around the same time that we were at church together and we were doing all
I think I
the.
brought him to church.
Yeah, I remember meeting him at church. Yeah.
Because he was my long distance friend
Oh.
for a while. And then I was like, he's my boyfriend. I don't know how this is going to work. He lives in New York. I live in Florida. But we made it work. I don't know.
That's so
one of
crazy.
those things.
We did long distance too, even though me and Josh met here. I moved to LA and then we did long distance for a little bit. Like right at the beginning of our relationship. It was maybe not a good choice at that time, but and then somehow you make it work.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just make it
I
work.
think with him and I, we were friends before we were like we started off as friends.
Yeah.
As just chatty friends, you know.
As I feel like it should
It just
be.
blossomed, you know? Like
Yeah.
I was 19.
Yeah.
I just had my heart broken from some other guy, some douchebag.
Some caca butt jerk.
Yeah.
We don't even like you.
Don't. I think he watches your show.
Is he that one guy? The one man?
The one guy.
But yeah, and I was like, I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
We had a lot in common, and we
Yeah.
just became friends, and it just blossomed into something. And I feel like that's the way a lot of relationships should happen. But
Yeah.
you know, you get to that age where you're just like, you know what you want, you don't want to waste your time.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm like, when I meet women who are my age,
Yeah.
who are in that single season, it's like, I get it. You just you want what you want now.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
you don't.
Men out there are just like, I just want to order Uber Eats. Like, I don't want a wife right now.
I know. Yeah. There's like this little bit of a Peter Pan syndrome happening too with dudes. And I don't know about women too, but definitely with guys, I'm like, bro, grow up.
Yes.
Like, get your life together.
Get a wife.
Well, I'm gonna
Wife.
advocate
Get a
a little
wife.
here for the
Peter Pans?
for the Peter Pans. It's just hard though, because there's a lot of toxic female culture out there though. Like you know, they're kind of raising up this new generation of women to like expect it all without giving anything in return.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
It's missing that piece of sacrifice.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
true.
and I don't know, like there's and for myself also, you get raised up as like the perfect little princess and whatever, and you know you don't get taught that you are going to have to make concessions and you are going to have to make sacrifices, and it's not because he's bad, it's just because this is how you make things work. This is how you make anything work. Friendship work, relationships work, you know, corporations, you know, they have give and takes. So it's, advocate a little bit for the dudes out there, just a little.
Team effort. But also social media has like destroyed.
Totally corrupted the game.
Yeah, because it's like you have a buffet in front of you. So why
true.
keep this one here when you've got so much more in front of you?
Yeah.
So true.
You know, and it's just so easily accessible.
Yeah.
So true.
So yeah, social media, all these dating apps, it's just made it so hard. You know, back in the day, we met someone at Walmart, married them a year later, called it a day. You know,
Billy Ball.
yeah, he'll work. We'll take that one.
He has some strong legs. I'll take that one.
Exactly. You know, but that back in the day, it was just so easy for
Yeah.
us. Like we met through genuine connections.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Yeah, you actually had to go out and talk to someone
Yeah.
versus talking through someone, because
Yeah, you
anybody
do.
can kind of get big cojones talking to a screen, you know.
Right.
But
gosh.
when
then in person, you're totally different.
yeah,
That's
you're
such a great
totally
point.
yeah.
That's a great
So
point.
yeah, it's what is it, the baddie next door syndrome, where it's like, oh, wow, there's someone better.
yes,
There's someone better
Yeah.
because look at them all right here on
just-
Instagram. There's
someone
just one
can't
right after
just
the
pick
other.
one. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, no, it's wild. Social media has definitely ruined. Yeah,
Well, I hope we swing kind of to more that other side where we're like very committed in our marriages, you know, like it's not that instant gratification culture anymore. And we can kind of swing to like the idea of commitment. And honestly, that's why it's so biblically, we're supposed to be in a committed relationship for life, because it just makes so much sense, like in so many other common sense ways, you know, just like as humans, we can't, that inconsistency of relationship and that like mental, it just drains you mentally and physically and emotionally. And it's like, if you live it out with this one person, it's like, I don't know, it just makes so much sense.
yeah. I love being married.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, people will complain and be like, "You're good with the one person for the rest of your life." I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
The fact that he's happy with me for the rest of his life is like, are you sure?
it's like I know myself, and frankly,
Yeah.
I have a hard time
No
getting along with
returns.
myself. Yeah,
No returns.
No returns. But no, I love marriage. He's, you know, my husband is my safe space. You know, I feel like I can be my 1,000% authentic. I feel more authentic around my husband than I am around my own family. You know, because like, I don't know what it is. It's like he is like my absolute better half. My husband, he's growing in his faith right now, which I love. And one of the things he learned at church is that your wife is your rib. And that's what he's constantly saying. He's like, you're my rib. Like, you're literally a part of me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, let's have another baby. So, yeah.
Well, I'm still pregnant.
can we make it a 2-for-1?
Yeah, right, BOGO. But no, like, I love marriage.
Yeah.
I will always advocate for marriage. And I will always advocate for building your marriage. And it's a constant constant work.
Always.
Like
All the
you are
time.
gonna go through seasons where you
Yeah.
not hate your husband, but like
But kind of hate your
kind of
husband.
we can't stand him a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just a season.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a season. It's gonna pass, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna go back to you're like, I just can't stop loving you.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like I got to a point. I thought in marriage, I was like, we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna be gold, and everything's gonna be like smooth sailing from there, which is so naive. But it's like anything. You're constantly up
Yeah.
and go, fixing
Yeah.
this, fixing that. It's like
You get there for about a minute.
yeah,
you get moments, you get glimmers of beautiful,
and they're great.
perfect
and,
wonderfulness.
And they're great. And I'm glad that they happen, obviously,
Yeah.
because for me, they outweigh the bad.
yeah. And that's
and-
how it is with motherhood too. You
Yes.
just-
Yeah. Okay. All right. No,
Very
good.
It's
good.
hard, and it's like a beautiful little star goes across the sky.
Little rainbow.
And that's short and that's temporary, and then it's like grind again.
Okay.
It's like a
Fair
Florida
enough.
summer day. It's like 1 minute sunshine, then you turn, you're like, oh, apocalypse, great, it's coming.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I totally took you off.
No, it's okay. Now I'm contemplating. I'm like, am I ready? Do I want to continue that grind? No, yeah, it's gonna be it's a tough road. It's
Yeah.
a tough road, motherhood, being married. It's not always. It gets romanticized a lot, and unrightfully so. Like you can romanticize it, but I think it's you romanticizing it with each other. Like you are romancing how each other is or how they are.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, then you kind of get stuck in a place where like you compare.
Yeah.
So kind of romanticizing this person as the person that they are versus what they could be, which we never,
Yeah.
rarely does that ever happen unless they themselves go through, But I think it's really important to just romanticize who they are. Don't forget,
Yeah.
that's a person that you love. And yes, they do super annoying things and mean things sometimes, not the most fun, but just romanticizing those little moments
Yeah.
where they are that perfect being in the moment. I think is really important.
Yeah, we
Husbands
don't
are
talk
work.
about that enough sometimes. We always talk about friendships, but we do need to talk about our hubbies because they are our best friends,
Yeah.
They are our best friends, and sometimes friendships come and go, but those guys are in it for the
guys.
long
And
haul.
I know I'm not easy. I know that I paint kind of like, sorry, babe. I paint like not the best picture right now, but I know that I'm not easy either. I know that I require a lot because he's my safe space. So I'm like, babe, do you still love me? Babe, if I had 3 moles on my nose, would you still love me? Like, I always need the reassurance
Yeah.
because I came from somewhere where I was not reassured.
Gotcha.
So, and as time has gone on, because I've gotten the reassurance from him, I don't ask as much anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is my safe space. He is my best friend. And without him, I'd be bothering you a lot more.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you for taking that responsibility because it is not, I know I'm not easy, but
Well, nobody's easy.
Yeah.
We all have our things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, my husband, same thing. I'm always just like, I don't know how you do it. Don't know how you do it. He will say like, I just work longer hours. That's it. The less I'm in the house, the better. But no, my husband, he is literally like the guy version of me. Like our personalities are so similar. It's scary. Like the way we just like laugh at the same jokes that no one else is going to laugh at. They're going to look at us like, okay.
Yeah.
But like we find it funny, or the way that we just have like, we're just so comfortable around each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know this is going to be a little TMI, okay? But
It's
that's
okay.
who I am.
This is our TMI
we're
episode.
This is who I am
This is our
as a
TMI
person.
episode.
I had a friend who she told me she was married. I mean, she's still married, but she's been with this guy for like, oh my gosh, close to almost 20 years. Like they've been together for a very long time. And she's like, I've never farted in front of my husband. I was like, excuse you?
She has a lot of built-up gas then.
Excuse you? I'm like, wait,
she has to go outside every time.
your husband watched you push 2 children out of your hoo-ha, and you've never farted in front of your husband? Do you understand that I fart on my husband? Like,
It's an initiation.
I don't care. Like, this is what you signed up for, you know? And she's like, I could never. I was like, why? I don't understand that. And
I don't get it, yeah.
I think it's just, you know, some people are just not that comfortable. I don't know. But I love that he is like, I'm so comfortable around him that I'm like, where are you going?
Yes.
Yeah, I farted. You're going to leave?
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
You're going to try going out there? Because I've seen out there.
I've seen what's out there.
It's not good for either of us.
You were to take my farts forever.
My husband farted when we were like dating, like maybe like week 2, he farted in front of me. I was like, okay, that was quick. He was like, he's no holds bar. He's like, what? It's natural. It's natural. I'm like, you're right, but also I'm embarrassed, but I'm glad you broke the ice. So thank you for doing that.
I never felt that like embarrassment with him. Maybe it's just me. I'm just gross as a person.
No, but that's good that you like.
That you were that comfortable from the get go, like,
Yeah.
because you saw him in your dream.
Yeah.
So you knew, you're like, oh, he's not.
You're not going anywhere, buddy. You're mine.
Yeah. It's like, I saw that curly hair. And
Yep.
You
Exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's just a comfortability. And I also
love it.
I love that he loves me even in like my seasons of where I don't love me.
Yes.
You know, like he encourages me. He brings me up, you know, when I went through, you know, really bad postpartum depression, like he was there every second, you know, and he made sure like I healed up and I took care of myself. I took time for myself. And even now, you know, our daughter is, I keep saying months, 19 months. She's a year. Even now, like he makes sure like, go take time for you. Go do what makes you happy. Go do what is important for you.
That's awesome. That's support. You need that.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
MySpace had the good guys. And then, you know, Tom was like, bye. And then all the good guys went with him. Sorry, guys. Sorry, ladies.
We need to bring MySpace back.
I know.
MySpace was so great.
Bring it for the single ladies.
Yes.
It was like the free dating app.
It was.
It was a free dating app.
I used to love putting my music, like the song, like my page song.
Yeah.
And like all the like crazy
you
backgrounds.
You can still find your MySpace. If you remember the name, you can look it up.
Oh.
I don't remember mine.
I did it like 2 years ago and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I found my husband's.
Really?
Yeah, but I can't find mine. I changed my name so many times. So I'm just like, it's lost in the interweb forever. Gone.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda. This was a fun talk about everything. We got to talk about our hubbies and dreams and like all the cool things that are coming. So we're so excited for you and for baby. We're just praying for a healthy baby, healthy whole pregnancy, healthy delivery, all the things.
You know, it was prophetically spoken over my husband a year ago that he would have a son. And then in December, right before I got pregnant, it was prophetically spoken that I would get pregnant, even though I had not told anyone that we were like thinking about it. So we're like, this baby right here, this is like our promised child.
Yes.
And already just like having it being a spontaneous natural pregnancy was already like a promise fulfilled.
Yeah. I love that.
So
I love that. That's so exciting. Well, Amanda, could you just let our viewers just give them like a quick little encouragement? If they were you 2 years ago, what would you say to you now, having all of this wisdom, journey, experience that you've gone through?
I mean, obviously, you know, don't give up, but also just find ways to enjoy the journey, which I know is so hard. So hard to do when you're in that weight, when you're in the trenches. How do you find happiness? But even if it's something as simple as just finding a book that calms you down, finding a song, a worship song that just brings you peace. Find different ways where you can find peace and joy. And those are the moments where God will speak to you the most and will give you the most reassurance that we are always walking through a storm, but you got to walk out of that storm. You know, you're always walking in one, through one, or out one. And so if you're in that storm right now, just know that there's going to be a point where you're out of that storm. So until then, just find those like pockets of peace, those moments where you can just take a deep breath and be like, Lord, I know you're in this with me. I know you're the fourth man in this fire with me. You know, just help me to be, you know, at peace at this moment, even if it's just that moment. And then you just got to jump right back into the fight. Find those small moments where you can, you know, have that time with God. That for me, that helped me the most. Just having those deep breaths moments with God was always so helpful. They kind of like recharge my battery.
Right.
To like jump back into the fight.
Right. Because it's draining. You're exhausted.
It is,
you can't
absolutely.
go anymore. And you need that reinvigoration.
Exactly.
That's why the Holy Spirit's so awesome. Because he's just like reinvigorates everything.
So good.
Thank you, Amanda, for sharing that. And thank you for everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was an encouraging message. Share this with a friend. Share this with someone that you think will be encouraged and inspired by this. And I hope that you just continue on this journey as we're going. And if you like, subscribe and follow and all the things, and we can keep growing and we can keep doing more things. So we need your help.
Encourage you.
Yes, exactly. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. I don't know where I'm looking.
Friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Soul Sisters podcast.
Our heart is to bring this encouraging content to you, and we ask that you join us by following or subscribing wherever you're listening from.
And also, share this with a friend who would enjoy it.
We love you, and we'll see you again next week for a new episode. Besitos!